Good morning, everybody. It's a cold winter morning here in New Zealand, and I thought this was a great time to show you how I make my protein oatmeal. And today I'm going to show you a super chocolatey version. So this is what gets me out of bed most mornings, and to be honest, I don't just eat this in the winter. I pretty much eat this year round because it's how I get my daily chocolate fix. It's like I always tell my clients, if you're going to be successful with sticking to any sort of nutrition plan, then you need to find healthy ways to eat foods you love, and this is the ultimate recipe for chocolate lovers. So if you're not sure what protein oats are, it's basically just oatmeal with some protein powder stirred in. And the reason we do that is most ladies don't start their days off with enough protein. So a really common breakfast, for example, with women who are making an effort to be healthy and eat right is something like muesli and yogurt and fruit. And the problem with something like that is that it's basically carbs on top of carbs on top of carbs, and each of those things is also a source of sugar. So it's not setting you up for a very good day. It's not setting you up to manage your appetite for the rest of the day either. Whereas if you start your day with something that's more high protein and filling like the oatmeal, you'll be surprised at how full you're gonna feel for the rest of the day. I actually have a client who came in the other day who has picked up my longevity recipe book with the over 40 transformation program that I have, and she's making an apple oatmeal recipe from there, and she said she couldn't believe how full she felt for basically the entire day. So she's really pleased that the oatmeal is helping her manage her appetite. The other really cool thing about protein oats is that you can basically use any flavor of protein powder you like. So if you're a chocolate lover, then use chocolate protein powder. If you like other flavors like caramel, then you can make some really caramelly oats. And in fact, I have a really good salted caramel peanut butter protein oatmeal recipe. If you want to see that one, let me know in the comments of this video. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you catch future videos from me. Now, let's get right into what goes into my super chocolatey oatmeal. I've got 4 types of chocolate that I put into these oats, and I start with the protein powder. So I use this Vega protein powder here. If you've watched any of my other videos on this YouTube channel, you'll see that I use this for so much stuff. The reason I like this one so much is because I feel like it's got a bit more chocolate flavor than a lot of the protein powders I've tried, and also it mixes so well. So when you're making protein oatmeal, you want to stay away from really thick pea protein powders that aren't going to mix very well, and I just find that this has a great texture for it. And then the second ingredient, one that's absolutely key, is cacao powder. So we're not talking about cocoa powder that you find in the baking aisle. This is cacao powder, usually found in more like the fancy food section of the supermarket or the organic section, or you'll find it in pretty much every organic store and every like online organic shopping or vitamin shopping, those kind of websites. So it's pretty easy to find pretty much everywhere. But the one thing that I would say about it is that there's a huge variation in quality, and some of them just aren't very nice at all. So if you find one and you're kind of like, it's not amazing, try another brand, because a really good quality one is going to have a really good chocolate flavor. So it's worth trying a few just to figure out which one you like the best. And the third chocolate ingredient going into it is chocolate. Now, if I was back home in Canada, I would probably use the 100% chocolate, because I love really dark chocolate, but you can't get that here in New Zealand. So I use the 95% Lindt chocolate, and I usually use about 10 grams of chocolate. One thing I would say about it though, because we're trying to make really decadent oatmeal here, is don't stir it all the way through the oatmeal because it just blends in and then you don't even know it's there. I usually break it on top at the last minute and sort of swirl it, but not fully mix it in so that I actually get mouthfuls of the chocolate as I'm eating. It makes it taste a lot more yummy. And the fourth type of chocolate going in is cacao nibs. Now this isn't necessary, and if you want to be a little bit healthier, you could always do something like blueberries or something like that. Although chocolate is a great source of antioxidants, so we are being healthy here. But I want to make this like super chocolatey, and I love the crunch that you get from a good cacao nib. Just like the cacao powder, however, not all cacao nibs are great, and in fact I think it's even harder to find a good cacao nib as compared to finding a good cacao powder. And so it is worth, again, trying a few brands to see which one tastes better. A really good nib is going to have a snap, and if you're a chocolate lover, it's going to be really hard to stop eating them. They're really addictive, like they just hit your brain. Whereas the average ones, like often the ones you get from the supermarkets, are often almost stale, like they don't have the snap, they're quite bitter, and you'll often bite into one that tastes stale and off, and so that's probably a sign that you don't have the freshest cacao nibs. For those of you watching in New Zealand who are going to ask where do I get mine, I actually buy this same brand, this series, I think it's called Series Organic, and I buy their cacao nibs because I find they're the best here that I've been able to find. So those are my 4 ingredients that go into this super chocolatey oatmeal. I've got some oats cooking on the stove behind me, which I'm gonna go grab, and I'm gonna flip the camera down and show you how I put it all together. Before we do that, I wanted to give you a couple of tips about cooking your oatmeal. So first thing is that I like cooking my oats in something like almond milk or cashew milk because I like them to be creamy, and I find that the oats get creamier the longer I cook them. So even though I use quick oats, I actually cook them for about 10 to 15 minutes. And sometimes I'll actually just turn them off after cooking them for about 5 minutes and let them sit, and then come back to them and they've sort of soaked everything up and they're super creamy. So that's another way you can do it. And they've been sitting for quite a while I've been filming the intro to this video, so hopefully they're not too gluggy. One thing as well is that I don't like having cold oats, and when you add the powders, you're going to have to add more liquid, and if you add cold milk to add that extra liquid, you're going to make your oatmeal cold. And so what I do is I either add more milk at the last minute before I pull the oats off the stove, which I'm going to do today, or sometimes I'll start mixing everything together and I'll just put a little extra milk in the pan and heat that up and then pour it on top to mix all my powders together, just so that my oats aren't cold by the time I've got everything mixed up. So let me go get that, flip the camera down, and show you how I put it all together. Okay, so I've got my oatmeal here, and I've pre-measured out my cacao and protein powder, so we'll just get those in there. Oh, it's never pretty when I want it to be. And then I'm gonna stir it up. Okay, so this alone would be super yummy because this is just a big bowl of yummy chocolate right here. Honestly, it smells so good right now. I'm so hungry. So what I'm going to do now is go in with a little bit more milk because it's just a little bit gluggy and I like to have a creamy texture. So I'll just stir a bit more milk in there now. Cool. Now I'm not sure if my camera's keeping focus, so I'm going to try to show you that and just make sure. There we go. So can you see that? So that's looking really yummy right now. But we're going to top it with some chocolate and the cacao nibs. So I've got the chocolate broken up already as well, and like I said, I don't like to stir it in, so we're going to just kind of put these chunks on top like so. It is really yummy, even though, you know, I don't know, I can't make it look fancy. I'm definitely not natural when it comes to that sort of thing. And then we're gonna go in with some cacao nibs and just add a little bit of crunch. And that's it. So like I said, it's not super beautiful, but it is super, super yummy. And if you're a chocolate lover, this is so gonna hit the spot. So let me show you this. There you go. I mean, that's just chocolate on top of chocolate, and it is just so good. So that's it. That's my super chocolatey oatmeal. This feels so good on my hands. It's so warm. I also wanted to remind you that I have a great meal plan that has recipes like this. It also has all sorts of yummy breakfast recipes like protein pancakes and smoothies and homemade muesli. And then there's lunches and dinners and snacks. There's over 60 recipes in it, and it basically has all my best advice about nutrition in one place, including 2 mini classes that walk you through absolutely everything you need to know. It's really customizable, so you can use it even if you want to have your own meals. I've made it as flexible as possible. I'll leave a link to it in the description of my video if you want to check it out. As always, don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Leave me questions in the comments. I will get back to you there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.